mute this. Okay, it looks like things may be working. I'll let chat confirm or not confirm, or maybe there is no chat today. Hey, Neil Slichter. Okay, well, I guess it's noon, so that means lunchtime is underway, and let's get this thing going. So you can just stop watching me blankly stare at things and actually have me talk. So hey, everybody, it's Monday. It's a new week. It's so close to fall, and the seasons are changing, and I'm changing onto a new project. So hey, for those of you who do not know me, I am Joshua. And this is basically, I decided, I don't know, months ago that I'd set aside my lunch hour to work on a cool project of my choosing. My first lunchtime project was a project I called Lunch Break Roguelike. That is done now. The source code lives out on GitHub. I'll probably time to time still run it and probably still develop it. And people who want to help me with that, they're welcome to. But this is a new series that I am calling, for lack of a better term, BS.CHESS. I think the high level design is it's a Twitch playable version of chess. But there are no teams and no turns, if that makes sense. As long as you enter a valid move into chat, the game should execute that move. So we don't really care about which side a player's on. I guess there will still be light and dark, but allowing people to move both sides of it's just kind of like a weird semi-real-time frantic version of chess is kind of what I'm going for. So that's the high level stuff. Let me transition over here. Let me pull open a text, just a text editor, so you can kind of see, so I can kind of write down what I'm thinking about. Since this is a new series, I have some goals. So I want to have a more structured stream. So what this is, I think I want to have my stream kind of mirror the software development process. So for those of you who are familiar with that, traditionally it is defined as a requirements phase, a design phase, an implementation phase, a verification phase, and a maintenance phase, and that's like the software lifecycle or development process. So I want to kind of mirror that a little bit. I'm going to kind of also shorten it down into not 5 phases, but maybe 3. I'm thinking of a design phase, an implementation phase, and like a QA test phase. Kind of trying to press that down into a short 1 hour, I guess, sprint per episode. Today, this is the 0 episode, so it might be a little weird because we might not do a lot of implementation. Yeah, so the more structured stream follows software development process. I want to use the MVC pattern. So that means it follows the ModelView controller pattern. And Not only is this good for, for me to talk about patterns and actually show an implementation of it, but also I thought it'd be cool to allow folks to implement their own view. So what this means is the view is what is in charge of showing the data. So for example, if you had if you were given a chessboard layout, the view could choose to render that however it wanted to. It could be using 2D sprites, it could be using 3D, it could be just console output. The view really doesn't care about anything other than just rendering data. So I thought that'd be cool to allow folks to create their own views and submit them, and I thought that might be an interesting thing to do. What else? I think those are my top 2 goals. I guess the third one is allow user pull requests for the view components. Yeah, so I guess that would be the kind of the 3 goals. Hey, Evram. All right, so I guess let's start with designy stuff. I guess that's kind of that should be where we're at right now, right? So design. I've kind of gone over this a little bit. I don't want to do too much off stream because I want to show you folks how I go through the process and try to figure out stuff. But yeah, so we have a model, a view, and a controller. And the model is just plain old data. And what? So in our case, plain old data is, it could be a set of chess pieces and positions, or alternatively, it could be a series of moves. Because if we always assume the same starting condition, and then we're just given back a playback of moves, we could figure out the state of the board giving the moves. And also maybe if we record the series of moves, this also gives us history, because that might be important as well. I know for the most part, chess really isn't stateful, but there are a few pieces with some special rules, like for example, pawns can move either 1 or 2 on their first move. There's whole en passant castling. So there are some things where having a history component might be helpful. So maybe we'll keep that in mind. But the model really is going to be the most simple part of this, right? It's just going to be data. And then the view just renders the data. And I say just, I mean, there's a lot involved in this. The controller is actually where a lot of the meat of this project is going to be. So the controller interprets user input. The controller will, I guess, handle the game logic. What else will the controller do? We should probably send events to view, because potentially, I think I'll probably write a Twitch controller for this. But you could make a single player version of this too, where you send mouse clicks and keyboard inputs to the view. And this also might be handy for debugging too on my end. So maybe it might be advantageous to have multiple controllers that I can swap in and out. Yeah, so potentially have multiple controllers to make development easy. And actually, the same thing is true for the view, right? We could also have potentially different views to make development. Because we could just have a view that's just console output, right? So that would be the simplest view. It'd require hardly any actual graphics programming. It just outputs text. It would be nice to be able to swap in between these to see. Also, potentially, if I design it right, you could have multiple views going on as well. So you could have a console and a 2D or 3D view hooked up. And also too, like whenever you look at like stuff about ModelView controller, like the pattern online, you're gonna find like MVC, MVP, MVVM. There are lots of ways of doing this, and even within MVC, there are different ways of thinking about it. Like some describe that the controller updates the model, and then the view reaches into the model to show stuff. Some designs say the controller manipulates both the view and the model, which is probably the route I will go, just to make it easy for folks who want to implement their own view. It would be easier. So I guess let's what else do we think? We have roughly 5 more minutes on our designy stuff. So what do we want to accomplish today, right? Like goals for today. One, I guess we need to init a Git repo. 2, I guess we could do the basic project structure. What else do we want to do today? Because I've allotted like 15 minutes for design, 35 minutes for implementation, and roughly 10 minutes for QA and test is kind of my idea. So Git Repo basic project structure. This should include directories and maybe stub out files. The things we think we might need. Maybe a very basic MVC implementation. This might be a stretch. I'm gonna try to keep this series at a slightly slower pace. I felt like my previous lunch break roguelike was me like frantically like slamming stuff together and trying to move as fast as I can. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more methodical on this one. Because this should be pretty quick. This should be again similarly quick. Directory stub out files. Yeah. So let's review. So yeah, so again, it's a no holds barred. I described the project as a no holds barred chess game played through rich chat. Again, this is the goals for the whole series. So let's say series goals. Yep. So more structured stream. Use the MVC pattern and allow user pull request for the view component. Okay. So I think for the 0 episode, I think we're ready to go ahead. Yeah, Gusano Loco, yeah. So again, players could potentially play both sides. I think as long as we receive a valid move, I think we should execute it. And there are also some other design. There's also this is like a technical design right here, right? This is technical design. There's also like a game design, right? There's also like a so like a basic chess setup. Players can manipulate all the pieces. No turn order. Yeah, so Evram is also saying it's. Yeah, so Evram is also agreeing that maybe for the model of the data, it could just be a series of moves, and chess actually has several notations to actually record this. So that might be an interesting interesting thing to try to model or capture. It requires some maybe some reading on my part, but I think that might be cool. I was planning on at least using chess notation for the moves, but we could record them into history as well. Adam says we program your own chess engine. I'm not sure what you mean by chess engine. I will probably just have a move validator, and that's probably all the more engine-y I'll be doing. As far as parsing chess notation, yeah, I might just use an abbreviated form of it. It just depends on how much effort I think. Gusano Loco VG is asking about scoring. Yeah. All right, so I think this is a good enough. We spent our 15 minutes on design. I think at least for today, I know what I'm going for. It's going to be more of a technical thing than an actual like user experience kind of thing. So let's go ahead and start dipping into that. Let's go ahead and make our Git repo. BS.CHESS touch. Let me see. Let's just do a git init. Cool. Let's do a touch readme md. Let's do, what else do we need? Yeah, I guess we'll need a I called it in the previous one. I called it seriously. For the time being, we can just have a very basic touch model.py, touch view.py, touch controller.py. Eventually, these will probably be packages. Right now, they're just modules, so that's okay. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start off this project using PyCharm as well. Let's see what I was working on before this. Okay, file, close project, open. Okay, so it's in repositories. BS.CHESS. Okay. All right. So I guess we can really get some really big, so this will be our main point of entry. So if name equals main, actually this might not even be necessary if it's the main point of execution. That's all right. Yeah, let's just not do that. So class controller. And again, this is we're just stubbing stuff out, just trying to explore the space, figure out what we know and what we don't know. And view. Cool. Okay, and then C equals controller.controller. M equals model.model, and V equals view.view. Oftentimes the controller needs to know about both of these. So it might make sense to have its constructor take those. And again, if folks have more experience with MVC, if you see me falling in any traps, please let me know. Model and view. Self dot model equals model. Self dot view equals view. And then what we can do is we can just say model dot model and view dot view. Okay. So we need to start thinking about the interfaces in between these two. Because the controller is going to have to ask the model or reach into the model. I'm not sure which way is the best way to do it for data. And usually people Gusano is suggesting a pub sub relationship, which is a publisher subscriber or a just like an event system. I can't remember if Python has built-in eventing, but yeah, it's simple enough to implement. I'm thinking maybe leaving the model as plain old data is okay, because the model really shouldn't change in between either the controller or the view implementations. Oh, did my little dog make his debut? So init or def init self.data is equal to just a dictionary. And then the controller can do something like, hey, Steven, how the heck are you? Not like that. So I'm trying to think of a good, very good base case for us to try to exercise to see that this stuff is actually working. The view init pass. So we basically want to, yeah, I think maybe a pub sub would be okay for the view, because definitely like, because we don't want the controller to always have to. We want the view to listen to maybe the events broadcasted by the controller. I think that's a good way to do it, because otherwise we could do something like def print, right? Call a message, print message. This might not be great. How about output? And then let's see, this is just hello world. Then the controller. The controller should also handle user input. I'm thinking the controller might need to be broken up a little bit, so the user input can be logically abstracted from the actual game logic. But yeah, then we can say def run, and then very simple view, what self.view.output self.model.data, right? And then c.run. And this should, as people could probably guess, it prints hello world. So again, this is not like super like sophisticated stuff, but we have a controller. It has a model and a view, and it drives the view to do. We get data from the model and we send it to the view, which I guess is in essence kind of what we want to do. I think maybe we could try, before I go on a tangent, because I want to go on a tangent real bad, but let's take a look at our goals for today. Yeah, so yeah, here we go. So directories, files, very basic MVC implementation. And we still have quite a bit of time left. So I think let's try, I guess we could try doing a very basic pub sub implementation as well, and then hook that up. Yeah, so let's just add a new Python file. We'll call it pub sub for lack of a better term. Hey, Schwinder. Okay. This will be do we even need a class? Could it just be a basic module? Because it was also something like a def, like subscribe, and this would be event and callback, I guess, something like that. And def publish event, something like that. That may be okay. If event not in events, events at event equals events at event dot append callback, and subscribers equals events.get event for sub in subscribers, sub, and also args. I think args is the best way to do that, and args and args. I think that's the most generic way to do that in Python. That should work. So let's test it out, I suppose. Yeah, and this would allow us to even further decouple things as well. So here in our app, all right. So we could probably factor out the view. We still need. I still think the model needs to be maybe a little bit closer to the view. V equals view.view. Okay. And then controller on controller run. So let's go ahead and import pubsub and pubsub.publish. This event will be output. And the args and quargs. We could just send a plain text, so hello. Or no, we're going to use our self.model.data. That should be the correct way to do that. And then on the view side, the view needs to import pubsub and something like pubsub.subscribe to output and self.output is the callback. I think this might be correct. Let's add some breakpoints to just kind of step through this and make sure that we understand what's happening. So debug. So we're creating our view, which we're going to tell our pubsub object we want to subscribe to output. So let's step into that. So we're going to look at our events. This is an empty dictionary. So if event not in events, we're going to make an empty list for that particular event. So the output subscribers are an empty list. And then we append this function pointer. Okay. And now we go into c.run. And c.run says pubsub publish output self.model.data. So we step into that. And the event is output. The args should be hello world, I believe. Yeah. Let's step over this. And our subscribers is that one function pointer. So we step into this, and then now we've jumped into this view objects method, which is the callback that we've given it, and it gets it should get hello world as we expect, and yeah, it should print it out. Yeah, hey Tyreek, thanks for stopping by, man. Yeah, it's a new project. So last Friday was the last day of lunch break roguelike. I will still probably run it every so often, but yeah, I wanted to start a new project. This one is called BS.CHESS. It's going to be a Twitch playable version of chess without teams and without rules. It should be interesting. But this one I'm doing a little bit more I guess engineering kind of work, where I'm talking about software development processes and different patterns for developing apps and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it. Trying to vary up my projects every so often, just on the lunchtime stuff to keep it fresh. I've learned lots of things on the previous one, and I want to take those learnings and go forward from there. So also, we probably want to have a unsubscribe, right? That might be nice to have a way to stop listening to events. Subscribe, unsubscribe. It should be events and callback. How are things your way, Tyreek? I saw I saw that you're going to be speaking in at the 2017 roguelike celebration event. So subscribers is equal to events.get event. If not subscribers, return. Otherwise, we want to think what's the best way to remove a remove key from Python dict. I think that there's a good way to do it. Oh yeah, you can just pop it. That's easy enough. Easy. So subscribers dot pop callback. The question now is, do I need this guard here, or can I get away without using it? So let's try this, and let's clear it and go to the Python interpreter and say we have a dictionary, and it has a value a, which returns 1. So d.get a should return 1. So what about d.pop and then something bad like b? That returns, that throws. So we could just make it a ternary operator. So subscribers pop callback if don't worry about it. We do need to check here, right? Because this could be an empty list, and this also could not exist in here. So if callback in subscribers pop, cool, right? So these should be the things we're caring about. And again, this is nice because now our view doesn't know anything about the controller, and the controller doesn't know anything about the view. It just publishes events, and the view listens for those. So then the app really is the one that knows about the controller and the view. So the app can kind of compose what controller and what view it wants. Cool. So we need to think about some edge cases we might want to test on this. I implemented the unsubscribe, but we also haven't tested it. So let's do something. Let's just test that real quick. I know I said I'd have a QA phase at the end, but it's also good to test while you go. So let's do something like let's also do just for testing, say def disconnect self, and there's no args, and this will be pubsub.unsubscribe to output and self.output. And then pubsub.subscribe to a disconnect event, self.disconnect. And also we want to, let's also no longer listen to the disconnect event as well, right? So what we want to do is in our controller, we're going to publish output. Then we're going to say pubsub.publish disconnect. And then this again. We should not ever see this. This should not display. Cool. So let's step through this. Debug. So we're stepping into here. This is just a very simple constructor for the model. all it does is just have this data here. We don't care about that. Step into controller. The controller just has a pointer to the model. Okay, that's cool. We step into the view. The view subscribes to a couple of events. That's cool. We step into the controller. The controller will publish this event. And then we jump through our subscribers and we say, okay, the view, you received a message from who knows where, but you know how to handle it. So let's take care of that. So then we output to the console, hello world. Then we step, and then we go back to here. We hand off the disconnect event. So we have a list of subscribers, and then we go into here, and then this should unsubscribe from the output. So we hit the unsubscribe. Subscribers is a non-empty list, which is good. Callback should be in subscribers, and we should pop that. So now we step into here. Oh, did I get a, ooh, I think I'm getting a, I'm getting an error. Method cannot be interpreted as an integer. What? Oh, subscriber at event. Yes. Wait, no? This is a list, so I think I can just use the dot remove. I think that's the mistake I made. Okay. So let's go through this again. Yeah, those are breakpoints. So if you're not familiar with debugging, this tells the Python interpreter to stop. So the program execution will run up until this point, and then I can use either the step into or the step over to control how we work our way through the code, and I can hopefully reckon about it a little bit easier that way. Also, you can, like, I think Visual Studio is pretty good about this, but you can actually, with Visual Studio, you can actually change the flow of things, but most debuggers, you just step through it, which is cool. So this is fine. This is fine. Yeah, this is okay. So we're more interested now in this unsubscribe method, making sure it works. So publish output, it should print to the console like we expect. Now, this disconnect message is the interesting one, so let's step into here. Step into here, and then disconnect, unsubscribe. Subscribers is it's a list of function pointers, and then remove. Okay, cool. So then this should actually be empty. We should have oh, wait. Huh. So let's look at pub sub events. It looks like the disconnect did not actually unsubscribe. Did I do something wrong there in my implementation? Yes, I did. So now here's another technical consideration is if we try to unsubscribe to something we're not subscribed to, should we raise an exception? Because usually that means that usually means we're trying to do something that's not what we expect. Like if I were to, maybe we should. So in Python, let's say if I have a let's say a is equal to a list of integers. I could say a.remove 1, and I get a. And if I said a.remove 4, 4 not in list. So maybe I should raise a value error saying the subscriber is not in this list, right? So let's do that. And that way, we're just a little bit more strict about how things are being used. So here in our unsubscribe, if callback in subscribers, remove. Otherwise, we need to raise a value error, and we need to say, I'm just going to follow this similar thing here. Yeah, so it's going to be super simple or similar. So I should say value error pub sub dot unsubscribe x not in x not subscribed. Dakota says, so curious, is the command window I'm using far better than the command window in Windows? So I'm using Commander, and I like it because I can have multiple command prompts open, and also I can run different shells. So this top one here is this is an MSys2 shell running bash, which is why I have the IRC up here running connected to my Twitch chat. And yeah, it's just I like it. It gives also, it has nice coloration. Yeah, I like it a little bit better than the command prompt. Cool. So then we raise this value error. It's free. It's a cool, cool free tool. But there are a number of command prompt replacements if you're so inclined to do that. So should we also raise here? Maybe we should. So this means no subscribers for E. So this means you probably called the wrong event. To be honest, you probably fat fingered the event and we're getting something back. So let's also let's also test this, so we can do a few things here. Also, let's just go ahead and make sure that the view is doing what we expect it to do with these two disconnect things. So again, let's debug. Step over, step over, step into. Step over, step into. Step, step, step in. So this should unsubscribe it from the output. So again, if we look now at the state of pub sub, if we add this to watches, we can look at pub sub events, and the output list is now empty. And if we step into here, so we got, that's correct. And we are, yeah, that's correct now. So if we look at pub sub events, both the output and the disconnect events have no subscribers. That is cool. That's what we expect. Continue. And then if we look at our console output, we only see hello world. Let's also real quick, let's do something like, there are several edge cases we need to think about, right? So Shvender says, oh, so you get the chat commands from a command which listens to the chat. Yeah. Yeah, so this is I think it's bash. This is a bash command line IRC client. Yeah, and because I also develop Twitch stuff, it's nice to have a command prompt I can just type in directly into IRC. But there is no, I run it like this because there's no Windows equivalent, so I have to run it in a bash shell, and this is the best way to do that. Okay. Let's also just try a few things here. Let's try this. Let's try Let's try unsubscribing from disconnect using output. This should throw. And if we try to do this multiple times, that should throw also. And if we also let's say deconnect, that also should throw. So let's step through these. F9. So that should disconnect us from output. This should throw. Or raise, yeah. So this is pub sub, unsubscribe, X not subscribed to E. Cool. So that is what we wanted it to do. So it's saying this callback is not subscribed to this event. Let's go ahead and delete that. Yeah, push and pop. Yeah, it adds to a list. So real quick, I can do a quick demo of push and pop. So A is 2 and 3. So it's at A.pop. It returns 3. And now if you look at the state of A, it's only the single, it's a list of a single value of 2. So A.push or A.push. Actually, I think in Python you don't really have push. You have like A.insert. Which is similar to push. Not every language has it, but push and pop is basically putting values into a list and pulling them out. And where that happens determines what kind of data structure you are. So there are things called stacks and queues. A queue is like a line at a grocery store where the first person in line is the next person to get serviced, and a stack is literally like a stack of plates. So the last plate put down is the next one that gets pulled out, if you think of it that way. Yeah, so again, Gusano Loco is kind of echoing this. It depends on the underlying data structure, and it depends on the language. But yeah. And they're very useful concepts to accomplish a variety of things. Okay, so let's verify that. So we unsubscribe. If we call it again, this should throw. It does, saying no subscribers for E. So this is saying that this event you're trying to unsubscribe from, there are no subscribers for it. Maybe this should say I think that's fine. That's saying that nobody subscribed to this. Yeah, that's an okay thing to say. And then let's also look at this one, this deconnect. That also throws with no subscribers for E. Maybe we want to kind of slightly change this. So because I'm seeing there's a case here where we could have say E is equal to output, and it's an empty list. So E.get output returns an empty list, and E.get or sorry, E.get returns nothing. And we want to differentiate that between that maybe. Hey, PyCorp. Do we care? Is it useful information for the developer? Maybe. let's say if event not in events do something like pub sub unsubscribe ex e not find. Yeah, I think the current behavior is fine. No subscribers for E, so this might be either you've already unsubscribed for this, or you got the wrong thing. I can't decide if I want to clarify that or not, but right now it's okay the way it is. Let's dock this again real quick. Let's just try to get a better habit of adding doc strings to this stuff so we can better see what we're doing. So this will subscribe to the given event. And a Python doc string is kind of a special language construct. If you notice, this is not a comment. In Python, you use this is a comment, and this is a doc string. And you can even see how, like, you can say like a equals that, and this is actually a string. This is a string with the value. This is a doc string. But in Python, if the first statement, I believe, or the first line after a function definition is this doc string, it treats that as the documentation for this method. And let's just say we have these params events. I'm trying to think of how do I normally I'm trying to think of some of my there are a number of ways to solve this. I'm trying to think of how I've done it in the past as far as documenting my code. I'm just right now, sorry, I'm off screen. I'm perusing through some of my projects on GitHub. I just to see how I handle it, because there are a number of ways of doing it. I just like have a simplified So let's just say event a string identifier and callback, a function callback. Oh, so Gusano says, is there an issue with subscribing multiple times? That is also a good thing to check. And actually, we should prevent that, right? That's some behavior we don't want to do. So if callback in events at event, we're going to raise a value. Do we raise, or do we just silently ignore it? Because I think the intention of subscribing to it is to make sure that you receive the events, and if you're already in there, you're going to receive them. So maybe we don't need to raise here. Maybe we can just let this kind of silently go by. I don't know if we should warn. Right now we can just guard it like this. That's a good catch, Gusano. Thank you for that. And then we copy this doc string and we can repurpose it for unsubscribe. Again, this is just unsubscribes to the given event. And then also, let's say, raises value error if event or callback not present. Okay, and then this publishes an event. Event is the string modifier, and then args are the callback args, and quargs are the callback quargs. So for those of you who are not familiar with Python, this whole args and quargs nonsense is kind of crazy. And it took me a while to understand it and to really appreciate it. So what args are just when you invoke so let me just do it real quick. Let's do this. New scratch file. Python. Def foo. This is a function. Def foo1 args. This is a function that has a parameter called args. Def foo2, and this is a, b, and c. So this is a function that has multiple parameters called a, b, and c. You can invoke this, so you can say foo of 1 h. That will call this method with this argument. You can also say foo of 1 args equals h. Now what happens is when you use this, these get packed into the quargs, and this gets passed in the args. Okay, so what happens is these are treated as a sequence, so their ordering is important, and these are treated as a dictionary, so their ordering is not important, and they come through as key value pairs, if that makes any sense. It takes a while to get your head wrapped around, but this is how I can generically I can call any callback of any signature type without knowing what the signature looks like. So just like in here, like I have, like I can call where my controller, I can call publish with output with parameters or not with parameters. I should be even able to say something like test equals test, and then I can go into my quargs and pull that out. So then this would assume that this output callback might look like this, right? So these are quargs, and that would work just fine. Cool. Okay, so I think this testing is fine. That's all gravy. I think maybe we should add just a doc string to the top of this thing. Just let us know what this does. This module provides a basic publisher subscriber implementation. Example. def foo msg print msg, and we could say pub sub dot subscribe message foo, and pub sub dot publish message bar. Okay, is it? This might think it's a doc string or a doc test. Actually, is that what it's doing? Yeah, I'll just. This should be fine. I think that's all I need to really say about it. Maybe also pub sub dot unsub scribe message and cool. Yeah, so that should be an okay little base that allows us to do nice eventing for our view and our controller. And I think this is a good place to call it. I'm a little over time, but hopefully things have gone well. Hopefully it's been an informative stream about, I guess today we mostly talked about the whole basic pub sub implementation, which is cool. It's a good thing to know, and there are good things to think about when implementing one of these. But we got it done in less than 70 lines with lots of comments, so that's cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and commit this and call it good. I think that's right. Yeah, that should do it. Okay, I don't have a remote just yet, but I'll point this at my GitHub and do all that jazz in a second. But I think I should wrap it up. So thank you everybody for tuning in for this very yeah, I probably should do a touch. Yeah, I need to get one of these set up as well. But I'll do that. I'll do that off screen. It's nothing terribly interesting. Hey Andy, unfortunately you got here a little late because I'm signing off right now. But yeah. Yeah, I will accept pull requests eventually. I want to get the MVC stuff set up to the point where people can implement their own views to visualize the data, which would be really rad. But hey, I'm Joshua. This has been my new lunchtime project called BS.CHESS, which will be a Twitch playable version of chess with little to no rules, which will be hopefully crazy fun, and hopefully it'll be a good engineering exercise as we go through different like practices and processes. You can follow me here on Twitch at Joshua Skelly. You can follow me on Twitter at Joshua Skelly. You can subscribe to me. I consider it like a tip jar. So if you think what I do is interesting or informative or entertaining, any or all of the three, please subscribe. If you're a Prime member, you get one of those free every month. Feel free to throw it my way. Also, for the month of September, Twitch is running a promotional, which they cleverly have coined September. So if this is the first time you've ever subscribed to me, this month is half off. But I still get the full benefit, so that's really cool. You should consider subscribing if you haven't already, because these folks have, in no particular order, Codrake, Glass Casket TV, Dr. Kegel, Smith, A Literal Train, Nixrod, That Bluestone, SG Bazzi, No Field, Neil Slichter, New Obj, and Mrs. Beefy 1111 are super kind folks who think what I do is interesting in some way, and they have supported me. So yeah, that's enough about me. I'm really excited to see this project go. I really want to get to the point where we can play it, but I'm trying to go a little bit slower this time and have good engineering development practices so people can see how like in a more less crazy environment I would actually build something. So thank you everybody for showing up, and take care. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, noon here.